Okay, class. As you can see, I am not here today. I've got district training, or actually a district meeting. They've asked me to go through and review some of the tech hardware tools that are coming out in the next couple of months, and they just want me to take a look at them and see if there's stuff that would work well in a classroom. Anyway, the thing that we're doing today is not too bad. In fact, many of you have done this organizing data in your elementary schools. We're doing line plots, we're doing stem and leaf plots, we're doing side to side or back to back stem and leaf plots, and we're doing a Venn diagram. So not too bad today. If you want, you can take some notes on what I'm doing, and I will post this to the Google Calendar if you want to check it out again later. Anyway, okay, so let's go on to the first thing. Like I said, right here, we're on page 467 if you haven't turned there already. Okay, the first thing I want to do is a line plot. And when you do a line plot, first thing you need to do is discover what your smallest number is and what your biggest number is. And we're just going to create a number line. That's pretty much what we're doing here. So my smallest number is a 10, my biggest number is a 0, and I'm just going to put them all on a number line. And then from there, I'm going to organize my data to show how many of each number I have. Okay, so there we go, 1 through 10. And what I'm going to do is put little X's up above, and this will organize my data in such a way that I could give this line plot to someone, and they would have exactly the same data that I have up here, up on top, except for it will be organized, which is nice. Okay, so how many zeros do I have? I've got 2 zeros. I'm going to go ahead and mark those off, and then I'm going to put some X's right up there. So that shows that I have 2 zeros in my set of data. Looks like I've got a couple of 1s. So I'm going to put 2 X's there. I've got 1, 2. I've got some 3s. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So then I put 4 X's there. I've got 3 4s, it looks like. I've got 1, 2, 3 5s. 6s, I've got 1, 2, just 2 of them. Oh, looks like I missed a 5 right there. 4 5s. I've got 1 7. I've got 3 8s. 4 9s. And a couple of 10s. Alright. And so now I've marked all my data off, so I know that I've got everything represented on my line plot here. And then I could give that to someone, and they could know exactly how many 7s, 4s, or whatever I had. So this is kind of a convenient little graph. Once again, this one is called a line plot. Okay, so that's it. Whenever it asks for a line plot, that's where you put the number line, and then go ahead and put the X's up above the number line. There is no key needed for this. There will be a key needed for the stem and leaf plot, which we're going to do right now. Okay, the next one we're going to do, like I said, was a stem and leaf plot. Stem and leaf. And what you do is you kind of draw this vertical line here, and in your vertical line on the left hand side you're going to put your tens digit. Oh, not test, but tens. And then over here you put your ones digit. And what that does is it groups all of your data together, and you don't have to write like 17, 18, 19. I wouldn't have to write 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9. I could just write 1 and then 7, 8, 9. And we'll see how that works. So what I've done up on top here is the weather from our area in this past week. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the temperatures we had, whether highs or lows, on this chart. So, did I have any that started here? Here's the data right here. Did I have any that started with 0? And the answer is no. Any in the teens? No. But I've got a couple here that were in the 20s. So I'm going to put my 2 here, and I know that I have a 9, a 5, and a 6. So 25 I represent like that. I've done that one. And then 26, put my 6 out like that. And then 29, I put my 9 out like that. Okay, so that represents 25, 26, and 29. Okay, so do I have any 30s? I do. I've got a bunch of 33s. One there, another one there, got one right there, one right there. So a bunch of 30s on there. And then let's see what we got for our 40s. Looks like my smallest 40 is a 42. So that one. Do I have a 43? I do. Do I have a 44? Yep. 45. 46. 47. And 48. Okay. So I could turn this into someone, and I don't need this 10s and 1s on top here. I could turn this plot in right here and say, hey, here's the weather for this past week. And someone could interpret this chart right here and know what all the temperatures were. Now, you do need to add a key for this one so that they can interpret it. So we write our key, and what we're going to say is 25 means 25 degrees. Okay? And then that way they will be able to decipher our chart. Okay? So that is a stem and leaf plot. So you put your 10s out front and then your 1s in here, and you want to try and put them in order from lowest to highest. Okay, let's try another stem and leaf, but this time we're going to do one that is two-sided. Okay, and they call it a back-to-back stem and leaf. And you'll see here I've got the wins and losses for the BYU and University of Utah basketball programs. And what I'm going to do, when you have a back-to-back, you create 2 vertical lines like this. And on one side is one team, and on the other side is another team. So we'll put BYU here. We'll put Utah here. And it does not have to be 2 teams. It could be hot and cold. It could be Republicans and Democrats. It could be wins and losses. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Just 2 things that you can separate evenly with similar data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down their win totals over the past however many years since 1990, and we're going to kind of create a back-to-back stem and leaf plot for this. Okay, so let's start out with any seasons where they only had less than 10 wins. It looks like BYU's got a couple. So we put a 0 out in front because that's our 10 spot. And I'm going to put the 1 here for this season, the 1 and 25 season, and a 9 here for the 9 and 21 season. Now, that's backwards, right? Normally, when we do a stem and leaf, we'd write them here, and we'd go, oh, that's 1, that's 9. Well, when we do a back-to-back, you have to be able to read the stem and leaf backwards, and we'll write that in our key. Okay, so let's look at years that we had 10 wins. Utah had a couple of them. So we've got 11. There's that one. We've got a 13, a 14, and a 14. Okay. BYU has got... Oh, I missed one of their 9-win seasons right there. Okay. They've got a 12 right there, a 15, and an 18. Okay, so we put a 12, 15, 18. I'm going to go ahead and mark those off. Okay, and then let's go for 20 win seasons. There's going to be a bunch of those for both teams. Okay, so let me just put a dot by the ones for Utah, and then that way I can put them in. Put them in numerical order. That part can be a little tricky because you've got a bunch of data. Looks like I missed a bunch of seasons here for Utah. There we go. All right, so we've got one with 21 wins. Let's mark that one off. 22 out, Cini. 23. There's one. 24. There's one there and one there. Another 24. 25. So I got a 20. No, 26. There's another 25. 26. No, 27. Got one of those. 28. I've got a couple of those. And 29. I've got a couple of those. Okay, so I think you guys kind of get where we're going on this, but let me just continue on. Okay, so we've got this season, this one, this one, this one, 20, 21, 23, 22, 22, 22, 25, 21. Okay, so I saw 20, so you get a 0 there. We got a 1, 2 of the ones. How many 2s do I have? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to run out of room here. 23, 1. Oops. That was a 32. Oh, that was 23. 1, 2. So you can see the stem and leaf plots can get a little tricky if your data's too big, so you see my numbers are going out crazy. I'm not going to finish BYU. They've got enough here. And then if I were to put the 30 win seasons, BYU's got a couple of them. Utah's got a couple of them. Looks like I missed a 14-14 season. Anyway, so you got to be careful about when you're plotting your data on there. So when you go to make your key, you draw your key like this. You say, okay, and I put both lines on it. Remember last time I only put one line. You put both lines on there, and you say, okay, so 1, 1 means 11. And if I go like this, I go 2, 1, and see how the 2's on the other side of this time, means 12. So you need to put your key on there along with the rest of your chart so that it makes sense. And your data sets won't be this big, obviously, so it should be easier for you to keep track of those. Okay, last one and we'll be done with it. We've got a Venn diagram. And what a Venn diagram does is it sorts our data into parts and things that fit within the Venn diagram and things that don't. So what they want us to do is look for 8th grade females. So I need to label my circles, and we'll go 8th grade here, and we'll go females here. So the first piece of data we have a 6th grade male. That doesn't fit either one, so I'm going to put a tick mark outside of both circles. 5th grade female, that's a female. I put a tick right in there. 8th grade male, that's an 8th grader, but not a female. 6th grade female, another tick inside the female box. 7th grade male, that's neither, so that goes outside. 8th grade female, that's both, so that gets a tick in the middle where it covers both the 8th graders and the females. 7th grade male, once again that's outside. 8th grade female, that's an inside one. 6th grade female, that's in just the female category. And 5th grade male, that's outside both circles. And then I just label what's gone on here. Whoops. Got 1 there, 2 there, 3 there. And that's all we're doing for a Venn diagram, and you guys should be very familiar with those. Okay, your homework for today is, like I said, page 469, and you guys are going to do 1 through 19. And that's all. Have a good one.